Hello. Right. So, if you live in Ireland, especially around Dublin, you may have seen these posters around. They make me really, really angry. So in June 2012, these posters started cropping up around the place in Dublin. First of all, let me tell you a bit about the business that make them. They're a group called Youth Defence, and I'm not going to give any links to websites, because really I don't want to give them any publicity. However, I will tell you a few stories about them. For example, in 1996, they offered to pay the parents of a 13-year-old girl who was pregnant and were planning on going over to England for an abortion from Ireland, €50,000 to make them reverse their decision to allow their child to go over. Yeah. In 2001, they opposed an amendment to our constitution called the Protection of Human Life in Pregnancy. This amendment would have stopped women who were threatening to commit suicide from being allowed to get an abortion. They campaigned against this amendment because they believed it did not go far enough in not allowing women to have abortions. But let's get back to the ads, because really, you know, they're the exciting part of this, and they're the bit that you want to watch about, right? They have two slogans. The first one, there is always a better answer, and the second one, abortion tears her life apart. Let's have a look at the first one first, shall we? That always qualifier doesn't seem very right to me. Does it seem right to you? While I completely agree that abortion is a horrible thing, and we really don't want to go through it as long as we can avoid it, in a few situations, it's the lesser of two evils. If you take an example of incestuous rape or something like that, the child is likely to be born deformed. The mother is going to go through so much horrible stigma for even having it. There isn't a better answer in those situations. And secondly, what is this better option that they talk of? I went through their website. They do have a few little bits of advice. You know, they say you can go with adoption, but mostly they say you should take care of the child yourself. And also, I found out that they're opposed to gay adoption, so that's a major chunk of potential mothers and fathers gone. And back to their use of the word always. I've just shown that it's clearly a lie, so how come they're allowed plastered around Dublin? Well, according to the Advertising Standards Agency of Ireland, because they're not a commercial entity, they can say whatever the hell they want. I, theoretically, could target one person who maybe I didn't like all that much, and post blatant lies about them on billboards all around the country. And because I wasn't making any money from it, it would be perfectly fine. In essence, Youth Defence are doing the same thing here, except they're not targeting one person, they're targeting women as a whole. And they're especially targeting women who got an abortion, attaching a stigma to them which they do not deserve. So how about their second slogan, abortion tears her life apart? Well, actually not so much. The Rape Crisis Centre recently did a survey, and they found that 89% of women who got an abortion said that they had made the correct decision. Abortion doesn't tear your life apart. Not having access to abortion tears your life apart. So, they're clearly misrepresenting their own point of view. How are they representing the other side's one? Not very well. If you go have a look on their Facebook page, which I don't advise to do, but I'm just saying if you do, the first thing that you'll see is that they do not label pro-choice campaigners as pro-choice campaigners, they label them as pro-abortion campaigners. That's completely wrong. That has a connotation that every single pro-choice campaigner would prefer if every woman got an abortion for every baby she has. No! That's so horrifying and wrong that I cannot believe you would even think about doing that. And they know they're doing that, they're smart. You also might see that they've recently compared an Irish senator to Stalin because he complained about their advertising. You never ever compare people to Stalin. Finally, and the thing that kind of sums this up for me the most, is if they're calling pro-choice campaigners pro-abortion campaigners, then they're calling themselves anti-abortion campaigners, which is maybe an okay position to be in. In a perfect world where we didn't need abortions, then obviously we wouldn't want them. We wouldn't want access to them because we wouldn't need them. It makes sense. But if they wanted to achieve a world like that, then this would not be the way to go about it. The way to go about it would be through encouraging the use of contraception, in educating people, in stopping men from raping women, cutting it off at the source. But they're not doing that. And the reason they're not doing that is because really they don't care about the rights of women. They care about promoting their own agenda. And it's worth noting that if you dig a little deeper, it's a primarily fundamentalist right-wing Christian agenda. I really hope that watching this video might have inspired you to have a think about this. And if you have had a think about it and you'd like to do something, then please read the extra articles that I might have popped down in the description. I should have popped them down if I remembered, you know, future Marky's not that great at remembering stuff. Also, Siren magazine, a feminist magazine that's published up in Dublin, have provided a letter that you can send to the advertising companies, or you can adapt it slightly and send it to your local TD. Please do that, and send it to them, and let your voice be heard if you care about this. Thanks. Here's a picture of a kitten to lighten the mood. Yay. Bye bye.